Continuation lang 'to ng gross estate natin. So, procedures in establishing gross estate. So, sa gross estate kailangan malaman mo po kung ano yung properties na meron yung decedent at the time of his death, okey? So, lahat ng yung kumbaga yung date of death, yun po yung kanyang magiging cut off ng ilalagay mo po sa gross estate, okey. Saan ba tayo natapos? So, sa gross estate, kasama po dito yung exempt transfers at saka yung taxable transfers. So, ano ba yung mga exempt transfers? Yung mga exempt transfers, they are not owned by the decedent, thus they should be excluded sa gross estate. How about yung mga taxable transfers? Sa mga taxable transfers, these are your inclusions. Ibig sabihin, um, they should be added to the gross estate. Okay? So, exempt transfers. So, ito yung mga kailangan hindi isama sa gross estate. Number one, transfers of properties not owned by the decedent. So, basically, because they are not owned by the decedent, they should not be included. Kasi, si decedent hindi yan pwede mag-transfer ng hindi sa kanya. Okay? So ano-ano 'tong mga transfers of properties that are not owned by the decedent? So bakit ba nandiyan 'yan? Bakit ba kasi sinasama? There are properties kasi na they appear to be owned by the decedent, pero in reality, hindi sila talaga owned by the decedent. So ito po yung mga naka-letters sa inyo. Okay, so sasahin natin. Number one, merger of use of rock in the owner of the naked title. So pag sinabi natin use of rock, usus fructus, ibig sabihin use of fruits. Okay? So, ibig sabihin meron kang right to use. Pero do you own the property? The answer is hindi. Okay? So, sa illustration natin, si Mr. A died on June 2011. In his will, he devised the agricultural land to be who shall use the property over 10 years and thereafter to C. Subsequently, B died, resulting in the transmission of the property to C. So, ang nangyari po dito, si A, siya talaga yung may-ari ng lupa. Pinamana niya kay C yung property, pero pinapagamit muna niya doon sa decedent. Again, kaninang gross estate yung kinocompute natin? Kay B. Kaya lang, nung namatay si B, si C na yung naging owner of naked title. Actually, si C naman talaga yung owner nung property. Hence, hindi mo po yan isasama sa gross estate ni B. Kasi si B, ang title na meron lang siya is use of right. Ibig sabihin, usage lang. Kaya hindi siya yung owner talaga ng property. Kaya po siya considered as exempt transfer. Sa letter B tayo. The transmission of or delivery of the inheritance or legacy by the fiduciary heir to legatee to the fideikommissary. Okay. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? So, pag sinabi natin yung fiduciary heir, um, yung nasa gitna, yung fiduciary heir, meron silang, hindi talaga sa kanila yung property, but they only hold the property based on trust. Okay? So, ang ginawa, sinabi sa will ni predecessor ni A na si B muna yung mag-hold ng property para sa kanyang minor na anak na si C. Since hindi pa nga capacitated si C na i-handle yung kanyang mga properties, ina-assign niya muna as fiduciary heir si B. But in this scenario, sino ba talaga may-ari ng property? In this scenario, may-ari talaga ng property ay si C. Okay? Ano ang role ni B? I-preserve lang para kapag time na nasa tamang edad na si C, ita-transfer niya na yung property. So technically, ang merong transfer dito, si A, papunta kay C. Ang role ni B is trustee lang. Okay. So ngayon, pag namatay ba si B, isasama ba dapat yung property na eventually tinransfer niya na kay C? The answer is hindi. Kasi hindi niya naman own yung property. Kay A talaga yun na tinransfer kay C. In short, nung namatay si A, si talaga yung owner. Okay? Hinawakan lang for the meantime ni B for preservation. Okay? For letter C, transmission from the first heir, legatee, or donee in favor of another beneficiary in accordance with the desire of the predecessor. In his will, Mr. A devised a piece of land to B as the heir and thereafter to C as the second heir. Okay. B subsequently died, transmitting the property to C in accordance with his will. Okay. So, ang nangyari dito, this is a transfer under special power of appointment. Okay. So, si A yung may lupa, yung may property. Okay. Tapos, sabi niya, ipapamana ko kay B yung property and then si B yung magkakaroon. Hindi. Teka. Ulitin natin. Si A yung may property. Tapos, sabi niya, ilagay niya sa will niya na si B yung magta-transfer ng property kay C. Okay? So, in short, in-specify ni A kung sino yung magmamana ng property niya. So, para lang din tong sa letter B. For the meantime, si B muna yung magka-handle ng property. Okay? Pero eventually, at the right time, i-assign na ni B si C as the sole owner ng property. So in short, nagkaroon ng transfer from A to C. Okay? So, since this is a special power of appointment at si A mismo yung nag-assign ng property or siya mismo yung nag-assign kay C as the heir, hindi po property ni B yung tinransfer na property kay C. So, hindi mo po yun ilalagay dapat sa totality ng gross estate ni B. Okay? Next, proceeds of irrevocable life insurance payable to the beneficiary other than the state. Okay. So, in all instances, lahat ng insurance policy kasama sa gross estate except for irrevocably assigned siya to a beneficiary. Okay? So again kapag irrevocably assigned lang siya sa beneficiary, hindi mo yun isasama sa gross estate. So, so kapag ang insurance policy ay inassign sa estate, executor, administrator, revocably or irrevocably, kasama yun sa gross estate. Okay? Kapag ang insurance policy ay assigned to a beneficiary revocably, kasama din yun sa gross estate. So ano lang yung hindi kasama? Kapag yung life insurance policy payable to a specific beneficiary other than the estate executor or administrator. So tingnan natin yung illustration. So one died and his heirs collected the following proceeds from the life insurance policy. So alin po dito yung kasama sa gross estate? Okay, number 1, paksa revocably designated to his wife. Revocably, ibig sabihin, kasama yan sa gross estate. Manulife, irrevocably designated to daughter. Irrevocably designated to specific beneficiary. So, hindi po yan kasama. Sun Life, revocably designated to one's estate. Kasama yan. Yung PhilAm Life revocably designated to one's executor, kasama yan sa gross estate. Kasi nga, kapag assigned to executor, administrator, at saka estate, revocably or irrevocably kasama sa gross estate. Okay? So, tatlo po yung kasama sa gross estate natin. Yung Manulife, irrevocably designated to daughter, hindi po yan kasama sa taxable. Okay? Next, properties held in trust by the decedent. So, pag held in trust, inassign lang sa'yo yan for preservation. So, do you own the property? The answer is no. Going back to the premise that you cannot transfer something that you not own, hindi mo dapat yan isasama sa gross estate mo. Okay. So, tingnan natin. The following properties were identified upon the death of Mr. Andres. Determine the gross estate. Okay, so i-check natin kung alin yung mga kasama sa gross estate. Car registered in the name of his brother. Okay, so ito hindi. Kasi hindi naman siya yung owner. Merchandise consigned to Mr. Andres. So, siya ba yung owner? The answer is hindi. In trust lang po siya. House and lot kasama? Motorcycle borrowed from a friend. Hindi rin. Held in trust lang siya. Boarding house held as trustee? Hindi rin. Taxi cab? Yes. Taxi cab franchise? And clothes, equipment, and other personal belongings. So, apat lang po ang kasama dito sa properties or gross estate ni Mr. Andres. Separate properties of surviving spouse of the decedent. Okay. So, take note. So, kanina sinabi ko sa inyo, meron, I think previously pala, sa gross estate, meron tayong inclusions, meron tayong exclusions, and next topic natin is deductions. Okay. So, dito, dinidiscuss naman natin yung separate properties of the surviving spouse of the decedent. Okay. So, meron kasi tayong um, deduction na ang pangalan niya ay share of surviving spouse. So doon pa lang sa deduction, since, okay, balik tayo ha. Ang focus ng topic natin dito ay gross estate. Since meron tayong deductions na share in surviving spouse, ibig sabihin, yung community property or common property ng housewife at wife ay husband at wife ay kailangan buo yun isasama sa gross estate. Okay? So, tingnan natin. So, sa mag-asawa po, meron kasi silang tinatawag na exclusive property at saka yung common property. Pag exclusive property, yung kay wife ay kay wife lang, yung kay husband lang. Yung common property, ibig sabihin, hati sila doon. Okay? Pero dito sa gross estate, wala kayong hahatiin. Alright? Ang isasama niyo lang, kunwari, ang namatay ay si husband, exclusive properties ni husband, at saka yung common property ni husband and wife. Kasi nasa gross estate pa lang tayo. Ma'am, bakit hindi natin hahatiin yung common property ni husband and wife? It is because next topic, andun yung deductions natin, yung share of surviving spouse. So again, hindi mo pwedeng hatiin kasi pag hinati mo na sa gross estate pa lang, paano yung deduction? Madodoble ka. Okay? So for example, itong 8 million, sabihin mo, ma'am, di ba sabi sa batas natin, kalahati kay husband, kalahati kay wife. Hindi ba dapat ilalagay natin yan sa 4 million? The answer is hindi. Sa gross estate, buo. Okay? Buo. Dapat 8 million muna. Bakit? Kasi pagdating sa deductions, andun yung share ni surviving spouse, which is kalahati, 4 million. Okay? Sa deductions mo pa lang siya ipapasok. Alright? So, tingnan natin. So, an inventory of properties at the point of death ni Mr. Castro revealed the following. Meron siyang exclusive properties of Mr. Castro, exclusive properties of Mrs. Castro. By the way pala, kapag exclusive properties ng husband, ang tawag doon, husband capital. Kapag exclusive property ni wife, ang tawag doon, wife's parapernal. Okay, just in case lang na makita ninyo ha. Pag capital kay husband, parapernal kay wife. Okay, sino namatay dito? Mr. Castro. May exclusive property si Mr. Castro, may exclusive property si Mrs. Castro, may common property silang dalawa. So magkano ang i-include natin sa gross estate? Answer is yung 2.4 million at saka yung 8 million pesos. 10.4. Again, hindi natin hinahati yung common properties kasi lalabas po siya as deductions. Right? Transfer by way of bona fide sales. So, bona fide sales, ibig sabihin valid sale, they are excluded to the gross estate. Bakit? Kasi valid yung sale. Okay? Hindi siya gratuitously transferred. Pero take note, there are instances na pinapalabas na valid yung sale, pero sa totoo lang, merong gratuitous transaction. Okay? So, for instance, ikaw si A, noong 2023, may property ka valued at ang fair market value ay 5 million pesos. Binenta mo siya kay B. Ano ang selling price? 4 million pesos. Okay. So kung dito, sa instance na 'to, sabihin mo na, "Ma'am, di ko na isasama yung lupa ni A kasi binenta niya na yan kay B noong 2023." The answer is hindi. So take note, titignan ninyo ha. Gratuitous, meron pa ring gratuitous transaction dito. Bakit? Kasi sino ba naman ang taong magbebenta na ang fair market value ng property 5 million, binenta lang niya ng 4 million. So in short, merong kulang na 1 million pesos. Tama? So dapat ba yung 1 million is yun ang isasama natin sa gross estate ni A kapag namatay si A? The answer is hindi po gano'n. Okay. Assume natin na si A namatay ng 2026 January. At yung property, ang fair market value na ay 7 million. Okay. So magkano ngayon ang included sa gratuitous transaction? The answer is 3 million. Ito yung pagko-compare natin. Eh, ma'am, noong 2023 kasi, ang lugi lang naman ni A, 1 million. Hindi ba dapat yan yung isasama natin sa gross estate niya as part ng um, as part ng gratuitous transaction niya or pamana niya kay B? The answer is hindi. Ang isasama po natin na amount sa gross estate ni A ay yung difference ng fair market value at the time of death versus doon sa selling price. Okay? So instead na 1 million, 3 million lang. Okay? It is because iniiwasan nga natin yung panggugulang sa gobyerno. Bakit? Kasi 'di ba nung 2023, ang fair market value is 5 million. So kaya ka nagbenta para mapaliit yung sales tax mo. Okay? So dito, hindi iiwasan 'yan kapag namatay si A. Okay? Bakit? 'Di ba ang sabi sa ating tax code, yung properties transferred at the time of death. Okay? Transferred at the time of death. So yung valuation natin, time of death. O magkano ba yung tinransfer niya kay B? Asan ba si B? Ang tinransfer niya kay B at the time of death is yung 3 million. Ito yung tinatawag nating sales under insufficient consideration. So ingat-ingat kayo 'pag nagbebenta kayo ng property na mas mababa yung amount, yung selling price compared to fair market value. Ay kasi instead na napamura ka, mas napamahal ka pa at the time of your death. Instead na 1 million lang yung kulang mo, naging 3 million pa yung magiging taxable under your estate tax. Okay? Next, transfers legally excluded. So, ano ba yung mga ito? So, kasama dito yung donation inter vivos. Okay? Inter vivos, ibig sabihin, mga donations during life ni decedent. Okay? So, the following are legally excluded sa gross estate ni decedent. Yung mga proceeds from SSS, legally kasi ine-exempt po sila mismo ng batas. Okay? We also have yung gross estate ng married decedent. Okay? So, the gross estate ng married decedent, dalawa ang composition niyan. Yung exclusive property niya at saka yung totality ng common properties nilang mag-asawa. Bakit nga total at hindi i-divide by 2? Kasi yung share nung naiwang asawa will appear as deductions. Okay? Which is next topic pa natin yun. Okay? Dito, ang focus lang natin, computation ng gross estate. Okay? So, ang gross estate ng decedent na may asawa or married is yung kanyang exclusive property at saka yung conjugal or common property. Ang conjugal or common property, iisa lang ang ibig sabihin niyan. Ibig sabihin, dalawa silang mag-asawa na may-ari. Alright. So sa family code kasi natin, meron tayong mga tinatawag na property regime. Number one, yung absolute separation of property. Ibig sabihin, nagpakasal silang dalawa, nagkaroon sila ng prenuptial agreement. At sabi sa prenuptial agreement, ang kay Juan ay kay Juan, ang kay Pedro ay kay Pedro. Okay? Merong totality ng separation ng properties nila. Okay? And then, we also have yung conjugal partnership of gains. So, ang conjugal partnership of gains, ang ibig sabihin nito is, ito yung date of marriage. Okay. Sa conjugal partnership of gains, lahat ng properties before marriage, ibig sabihin, dito, they are considered as exclusive property ng husband at saka ng wife. And then after marriage naman, they are now considered as conjugal property. Silang dalawa yung may-ari. Okay. So exclusive property nila yung dadalhin nila sa marriage. Okay. Conjugal property nila yung after marriage, conjugal property na nila yun. Okay. Sa absolute community property naman, magkaiba. Ito ay CPG, Conjugal Partnership of Gains. Sa Absolute Community Property or ECP, diba? Ito yung date of marriage. Lahat ng dadalhin mo sa marriage are considered common at lahat ng ma-earn ninyo during marriage are considered common with certain exceptions. Okay, mamaya natin i-discuss yun. Exceptions. Okay? So take note, pag CPG, properties mo before marriage na dinala mo sa marriage are considered property mo lang. Okay? After marriage, doon kayo magkakaroon ng conjugal property mag-asawa. Under absolute community of properties, lahat ng property na dadalhin mo sa marriage is considered common property at lahat na mapupundar ninyong mag-asawa after marriage are considered common property with certain exceptions. Ano man ang pinagkaiba nila? Ano ba pinagkaiba ng term na conjugal at saka common? Actually, parehas lang sila. Okay? Parehas lang sila na, na ang may-ari ay yung mag-asawa. Conjugal lang ang tawag kasi yung property regime is conjugal partnership of gains ang tawag. Yung common property, under naman siya sa absolute community property. Okay? May date akong ipapa-memorize sa inyo, ha? Okay, saan na yun? Asan yung August 3, 1988? Nahanap ko lang. Parang hindi ko makita. Basta ko yung kanina eh. Wait lang, ha? Ayun. Okay. So, dito tayo. Remember niyo 'tong date na 'to. Okay? So, August 3, 1988. August 3, 1988, diyan po naging effective yung Family Code of the Philippines. Okay? So, under the Family Code of the Philippines, before August 3, 1988, ang ang property regime na applicable sa mag-asawa ay yung conjugal partnership of gains. Okay? So, kapag kinasal kayo before August 3, 1988, ito ang magiging basis ng inyong properties. Pero after or on August 3, 1988, kasi the family code is already effective, eto na. Okay, so kunwari nagpakasal kayo 2026, absolute community property na po yung um, magiging applicable sa marriage ninyo. So ibig sabihin lahat ng napundar mo nung dalaga ka pa at dinala mo sa marriage are considered property ninyong mag-asawa, right? Unless gagawa kayo ng tinatawag na prenuptial agreement, which is andito po yun sa absolute separation of property. Pero take note ha, dapat meron kayong agreement. Eh, kung walang agreement, it's either CPG or ACP, ang property regime. Tapos, ang CPG applicable lang kapag ang marriage is before August 3, 1988. Afterwards, absolute community property na po yung magiging applicable. Okay. So, i-discuss natin ulit itong CPG at saka ACP. So, sa CPG, ano ba yung mga exclusive properties ng husband at saka ng wife? Okay. Lahat nga ng before the marriage are considered exclusive property. Alright? Pero, take note, meron din dito sa letter B. You have to remember na kapag, kunwari, during marriage, o ibig sabihin, after ka ng ikasal, meron kang namana. Okay, kunwari, nung nagpakasal ka, buhay pa yung parents mo. Okay? And then, namatay sila after your marriage. Pinamanahan ka ng isang property. Okay? So, that is considered as gratuitous title. So, even if namana mo siya ng kasal ka na, that will form part of your exclusive property. Walang share doon yung asawa mo. Okay? Kasi galing po yan sa gratuitous title. Okay? Ulitin natin, illustration. Si A at saka si B nagpakasal. Okay. Kailan sila nagpakasal? January 1, 2026. Okay. So basically, ang applicable sa kanilang property regime, absolute community of property. Okay. Tapos ngayon, yung parents ni B, si B1 at saka si B2, namatay. Alright. So nagpamana sila ng property kay B. Okay. Namatay sila January 3, 2026. Okay. Kasal na si B ha, tapos namatay si B1 at saka si B2. Okay. Yan yung parents ni B. Kasal na sila. So, nagkaroon ng lupa ngayon si B. Ang tanong, may share ba dyan si A? Or is that considered as common property ni A? The answer, ni A at B, the answer is hindi. Kay B lang yan. Exclusive property lang yan ni B. Okay? Kasi ayan, no, exclusive property which acquired during marriage by gratuitous transfer. Gratuitous ba yung transfer? Oo, pinamana, 'di ba? Ang succession is gratuitous yan, 'di ba? Pinamana yan. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung lupang namana ni B ay sa kanya lang. Okay? So, kapag medyo duda kayo sa mapapangasawa ninyo, tapos ayaw nyong maging common property yung properties ninyo. Ang isa sa mga ginagawa, kung buhay pa yung magulang, ay kunwari dalaga ka pa, ipangalan mo yung properties na bibilhin mo under the pangalan ng mga magulang mo. Okay? But make sure na before ka make sure na after kang ikasal, buhay pa rin sila. Okay? So, ang ginagawa, pinapangalan, di ba? Pinapangalan mo na sa parents. And then, kapag na-deads na yung parents, doon pa lang magkakaroon ng transfer kay anak. Okay. So, ang tanong, may habol ba doon yung asawa ng anak? The answer is wala. Kasi nga, exclusive property lang yun ni anak. Okay? So, conjugal properties, lahat ng na-earn during marriage. Okay? Kahit ba galing doon sa exclusive property, kunwari, nung dalaga si A, meron siyang apartment. O, kinasal siya. O, kinasal siya. Ibig sabihin, yung, tapos sige, gawin natin illustration. For example, si A, nung dalaga siya, meron siyang exclusive properties apartment. Anong fruits ng apartment? Renta. O, pinakasalan niya si B. Pero bago niya pakasalan si B, gumawa sila ng prenuptial agreement. Na sabi nila, ang magiging property regime nila ay conjugal partnership of gain, CPG. So yung apartment, exclusive property lang ni A. Okay. Since CPG yan, sabi natin, lahat ng properties after marriage ay common property or conjugal property nilang mag-asawa. Except if kapag dineclare nila yan as exclusive property. Yung apartment, exclusive property. O di kasal na silang dalawa. Ngayon, nung kinasal sila, meron itong renta. Yung rent na yan, kay ilang ba yan? The answer is hindi. Sa kanilang dalawa po na yan. Okay? Kasi fruits of properties from common property and exclusive property are considered as conjugal property. Okay? So yung renta na kinikita ng apartment, conjugal property yun. Right? For absolute community property, you have to remember na lahat ng dinala sa marriage at na-earn ng mag-asawa after marriage are considered as common property. Ang exception to the rule ay tatlo. Okay? Number one, yung nakuha by gratuitous transfer after marriage. So example natin ulit, yung kapag buhay pa yung magulang mo nung nagpakasal ka, and then eventually after marriage, namatay sila, nagkaroon ka ng mana, yung mana na yun is still part of your exclusive property. Okay. Next, property for personal use of either spouse. Personal use, yung damit mo, yung bag mo, they are considered as exclusive property mo lang kasi aanhin niya ng asawa mo, 'di ba? Lang naman isuot niya yung skirt mo, right? Exception to the rule for letter B is yung jewelries. Ang jewelries kasi is of high value, 'di ba? Ibig sabihin, pwede kasi maisang layan eh. Common property yun. Okay? Ma'am, paano kapag kunwari ako babae tapos ang mga binili ko yung mga Hermes bag? Oh, sabi, property for personal use. Alam mo namang gamitin ng asawa mo yung Hermes bag. Oh, sinabi lang naman dito, jewelry, di ba? So, pwede kang mag-invest sa Hermes bags kasi exclusive property mo yun. Pero take note, ngayon kasi, pag nagkakaroon na ng kaso, even the Hermes bag, since it's of high value, ginagawa na po yan as common property. Basta maide-defend mo na pwede namang maibenta ng huge amount yan. Pero paano kapag kunwari yung mga damit? Yung damit, considered yun talaga as exclusive property. Okay? And then letter C, property acquired before marriage by either spouse who has legitimate descendants by the former marriage. So ano pong nangyayari dito? Ito, both yung property at saka yung fruits ha. So for example, ikaw, gusto mong makaangat sa buhay. Mag-asawa ka ng matandang mayaman, madaling mamatay. Okay. Pero bago mo pakasalan yung triple M, nalaman mo na byudo pala siya. Ibig sabihin merong previous na asawa, tapos nagkaroon ng anak, o magiging stepmom ka, okey? Um, yung properties na napundar nilang mag-asawa before, hindi po yun mapupunta sa'yo, okey? Hindi mo yun puwedeng kunin because that is reserved doon sa kanilang naiiwang anak, okey? So 'pag ang gusto mo ay sumakses sa buhay, maghanap ka ng triple M pero walang anak, okey? Kasi this letter C is applicable kapag merong anak, may tagapagmana, may naiwan. So ang hahanapin, matandang mayaman, madaling mamatay without anak, okey. 'Pag may anak kasi, eh, di zero lang din yun. Kung ano lang yung napundar ninyong mag-asawa during your marriage, yun lang yung sa'yo, lugi, 'di ba? Okey, na-discuss na natin 'yan, okey. Basic rules and determination of property interest. So right now, since 2026 na tayo, ang property regime applicable unless wala kayong ginawang prenuptial agreement ay absolute common property. Okay. The sale or exchange of property does not alter their classification. Kaya nga, paano ma'am kapag kunwari ano to, properties acquired using separate properties are still separate properties. Kunwari, meron kayong prenuptial agreement. Okay, tas binenta mo yung exclusive property mo. And then, pero kasal ka na. And then, from the pinagbentahan, bumili ka ng property, townhouse or beach resort. Ang tanong, may habol ba doon yung asawa mo? The answer is wala. Kasi ang pinambili mo doon, yung galing sa separate property mo. Okay? Wala pa rin siyang habol doon. Okay. So letter B tayo. Ay, letter number 3, accruals in value or gains on the sale of properties. So increases in the value or gains on the sale of properties are fruits. They are, they still follow the rules of property regime. So sabi ko, kapag separate properties yan, yung fruits niyan kasama pa rin po doon sa conjugal property at saka common property after marriage. Na-discuss na natin yan dito sa may apartment. Ayan, yung si renta. Okay? Yung rent will now form part of your absolute community property. Okay? So that's the end of your gross estate.